Should we continue to fund our jointly owned airport and finance the runway improvements? Mr. Nusko.
The airport is a very complex issue, and I don't think we should fund the whole cost of it. However, from what I've heard from people involved in aviation, there is government funding available from both federal and provincial dollars to pay for, amongst other things, airport resurfacing. I think that this is a conversation we're going to have to make a decision. What is the value of the airport to our community? What benefits does it provide to us? And is it worth the cost?
Thank you, Mr. Nusko. Mr. Standen.
We've had the airport as an asset in our, well, I use the term asset a little bit loosely, I guess, in our community for the past 10 years under a joint management agreement. Clearly, it's not working, so we have to look at what we can do, whether it's maintaining the airport at a different certification level or whatnot. I do think that it's important to keep in our town and to keep it running and operational. However, I can't continue to have it, or can't continue, to support it running on a deficit and sort of relying on our partnership, or the joint board and the associated municipalities and the finances that they put into it. I can't see that continue. So I think looking into funding opportunities, as Mr. Nusko mentioned, through the federal and provincial government's key, and should we not be able to exhaust those, then I think we look at private partnership and divesting it.
Thank you, Mr. Standen.
Again, back to the budget process, I would be having quarterly reviews with the department heads. When they submit their budget, it's not just a bunch of figures, it's a work plan. And in there they would, let's say part of it would include Street A. And you would follow this through on their quarterly reports. They would be reporting on every line that deviated from, or their variance from budget was greater than 5%. They would have to comment on it. In this way, we would make sure that the roads that we approved at the budget time were the roads that were actually going to get hardtopped or paved or whatever. It also would allow us the opportunity that when we see that they are running over budget, that at that time we learn to live within our means, and they would have to make the decision with council to pull back and maybe even cancel some of the projects.
Thank you, Mr. Close. Ms. Jackson.
The department heads are responsible for maintaining those budgets. And yes, you do have quarterly meetings with each department head. If they're going over their budget, I believe it's their responsibility to rein that back. They have the first crack at repairing that situation. And if they can't do it, then it's going to have to go to council. I have seen major projects scrapped because a certain department has gone over budget, and we simply can't afford to do that. We have to live within our means. We have to get the jobs done that we said we were going to do for the amount of money that we agreed to do it. So really, you need to hold your department heads accountable, and then that trickles down throughout the departments.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Following question will be directed to Mr. Kerr. Mr. Kerr, you'll have 60 seconds to reply, or a minute, sorry. What are your plans to support the existing business communities and to attract new businesses to our area? Mr. Kerr.
Okay, I think there's a couple things that we can do, and I just call it the cleanup type approach. Number one, if you go through Wyerton, why can't all the traffic lights be working? There's always a high percentage of them that are out. We don't keep it clean. If you're coming down Highway 6, our signs aren't vertical. We don't look like we're a nice community, and I think that's up to the town to make that happen. Anna mentioned grass in the sidewalks. All of those things could be done to make us sparkle and look better. We should be prepared to do whatever we can legally do to support our businesses, because we need business. Once we get our town looking better, even now, when somebody comes in to come to our town, we should not only welcome them, but we should say, look, here's what you need. You need an MTO permit, you need county approval, you need our Public Works, you need possibly Health Department. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to go with you every step of the way so that you can get things done and get your business going in our town.
Thank you, Mr. Kerr. The last question that was prepared for me will be directed to Ms. Bowman. You also will have 60 seconds. How will you address local economic development?
I think the best way to address this issue is to have strong downtown revitalization committees, to have strong Chamber of Commerce, to be able to work with the economic development officer within our town, to give the support. However, that does not necessarily mean monetary support. I am not a proponent of increasing the funds to the chambers. I'm sorry to say that, but however, you need to support yourself. You need to figure out how to raise your own monies. I'll be there to support you. I'll be there to advertise for you. I'll be there to walk you through, but I will not be there, and I don't believe the ratepayers of this great municipality should either be there to support you financially. So we welcome, we embrace, we advertise, we support, but that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next question on the table will be for all candidates again to respond. We will be giving you 30 seconds. Sorry, Mr. Gammy, Mr. Gammy, I'm sorry. Was there a wild card showing? I did not see it. I'm sorry. You'd like to respond?
Thank you. The question was how to address local economic development.
That is correct.
When new people want to come to town, start a new business in town, there are all kinds of people that are putting up roadblocks. All kinds of people are saying in the business community, and especially some of the Chamber of Commerce members are saying, we don't want competition. We should put up roadblocks to new competition. We got to get rid of that. Competition is good. Competition is good for everybody. Competition is good for residents because it gives them lower prices, better services, and more choice. So that's one of the roadblocks I would get rid of. And also to address local economic development, as I said before, I would start an economic development committee divorced from the town.
I'm seeing that. Mr. Gammy, still have 20 seconds if you wanted it.
Oh.
Thank you. Mr. Leonard, we caught you as well. You got 30 seconds. Sorry, 60 seconds.
First off, I'd like to say how great most of our community is at promoting each other. Secondly, the committees that we have right now, the Revitalization Committee and the ladies who work on the, not just ladies, but everyone who works on the committee downtown, or the Business Association, they're phenomenal. And for you to put them down is a disgrace. So I'm sorry, you really should not represent us, because in no way could you be unified.
Thank you. Ms. Thomas, did I see a wild card as well?
I attend the BIA meetings in Wyerton and the Chamber of Commerce meetings, and if elected now, I would also attend the Sauble Beach ones. There is no way those people put up roadblocks to anyone that's coming into town. They work hard year after year trying to do anything and always asking for input to bring any business to this town. There is absolutely no way that they put up roadblocks.
Thank you. Mr. Turner, did you also have a wild card?
I'll save it for later.
Thank you. All candidates will have 30 seconds to respond to the following question. Once again, I'll start over at Mr. Close. What is your position on future development of retirement living facilities?
This is a great question. We do have a few developments on the books, on the paper. The problem with South Bruce Peninsula, and specifically with Wyerton, is our infrastructure with sewer and water. And you can see right now that we're putting in new pipes. From there, we'll move towards Burford Street. As I mentioned in my speech, we have plans in place to expand our sewage treatment plant. You can't build a house and expect people to flush their
Thank you,
toilets.
Mr. Close. Mr. McKenzie, 30 seconds.
Can you repeat the question?
Absolutely. What is your position on future development of retirement living facilities?
Well, Mr. Kerr at the first spoke on how many seniors we have in this area. And this is one of our biggest thing, is a lot of people retire up here, and I don't take this the wrong way, but a spouse dies, and the other one has to go back to the city because there's no place for them to go. So we need places for our seniors to go, and there is no place for them to go. So we have to put that as number one priority, I think. Our youth is our number one priority,
Thank you.
but that's one of the things. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Thomas?
I am totally in favor. As a Realtor, I do see the amount of seniors that are looking for accommodation in Wyerton. It's very hard to come by, so I'm totally in favor of it.
Thank you. Ms. Hall?
Yes, I totally support finding new accommodations for the seniors. Our senior population, it is growing. I'm going to be a senior sometime soon, and I'm going to need a place. So we have to look into the future and provide, not that soon, and provide and be able to provide the accommodations for the people that they're going to need it. So we have to look ahead and plan for that, definitely.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. Ms.
I was,
Jackson?
I was at a county planning meeting probably 7 years ago, and they said that within 15 years we were going to be 70% seniors up here, and that is huge. Those are very, very big numbers. So we have to be prepared for that. That south of town adult lifestyle community is number one on my list. I mean, that's 900 homes for seniors. But we've got to go beyond that, and we have to be absolutely prepared because we are a number one place in Canada, really, to retire, the most desirable place to retire.
Mr. Kirkland?
I'm for development 100%. I hope the development south of Carson's Camp proceeds forward. I would like to see that happen. Unfortunately, we don't have the infrastructure in the ground in that area to help them, so they have to put their own infrastructure in. Supported the growth of the Wyerton sewage treatment plant to allow for more growth in the Wyerton area. Right now, we don't have any capacity to allow development, and we have lots of development waiting to happen. So, big supporter of doing that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Nusko?
I think this is a good area for the town to expand into. Many statistics reports that I've seen say that seniors accommodation, seniors living, seniors independent living is going to be a growth area and a growth industry. It'll bring jobs to our community, I believe, both in the construction of these facilities and in the staff to maintain and take care of them.
Thank you. Mr. Standen?
Of course, seniors living developments are key to expanding our tax base first and foremost, which I think is very important because otherwise everything just kind of stagnates. Upgrades to infrastructure to accommodate such developments are now taking place, has been pointed out already. And I really think at this point in time, it's taken some time to get the ducks in a row, and it's time to move forward with these proposals and, embrace them.
Thank you. Mr. Leonard?
I've talked about it with several people about gated community for the elderly where they don't have to worry about things, and I think it's something we really need in this area, especially it would be great near Wyerton because the hospital's there, kind of goes hand in hand. The 6 words, you build it, they'll come. You have 900 lots, it's 900 new people, 900 new homes paying taxes. It's going to pay for that sewer to come in no time at all.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
So this is certainly an issue that's coming up at the doors lots, talking to people. There's a fear out there amongst those in their senior years. They're looking to sell their homes, that they're going to have nowhere to move from their home to stay in the community. So I think it's an issue we can't afford to wait on anymore. We need to act. And I also see it as a huge economic opportunity for the future. If we're able to draw folks from the cities that have significant wealth to retire up here and spend their money in our local economy. That creates jobs for our young people and supports our tax base.
Thank you.
As I mentioned before, I spoke with the owner of this land, and those people and developer has been dragging on for years. Just in last budget, there was a budget at $100,000 to study, and just round the corner, they pulled that money out to study Wiarton infrastructure, where they know that falling apart. So totally, I would support that development. And this is not just 800, this is a 2,500 units for seniors that we badly needed. And this would increase
Thank you, Anna. Mr. Gammy.
Once again, can you think of any more beautiful place to retire in the town of South Bruce Peninsula? I can't. So I support the development of retirement facilities wholeheartedly. One thing we should do is recognize that the private sector is in the best position to develop these facilities, and we need to get out of their way, and we need to make sure that they understand the opportunity here in our community.
Thank you, Mr. Gammy. Mr. Turner.
As the other folks have said before me, we have already begun with new infrastructure. That's the secret to getting these places built. You can't have Mr. Kruselbrink asking for 44 new lots downtown, or 44 seniors' homes downtown, unless you've got a way to get rid of the poop. And right now, we don't have a way to do that. We've got water for them, but we don't have a way to fix the problem with the sewage. We're starting now, we're going street by street, and I'm sorry to all of you who live in Wiarton for the inconvenience.
Thank you. Mr. Kerr.
Seniors, you're talking my posse. Naturally, I agree with the comments that we do need housing for them, but I think we're missing some of the important things. We, right now, have, I believe, 9 doctors full-time. We once had 4. Older people, like me, need more medical treatment than younger people. We have that base that we can sell. We also need to be concerned about how are they going to be able to shop? Where are they going to be able to shop, particularly for food? Things like,
thank you very
do
much.
we deliver for seniors? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Kerr.
This council's had a real dilemma. We had a few developers come to us. We didn't have the infrastructure. We have spent your money, and we are developing the infrastructure so that we can put up the 44 lots in Wiarton. We are supporting, in principle, the development out at Sauble. So absolutely, I am a senior. I will be there shortly. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Bowman, if I may, can I go right to left on the following, which is all candidates? Can I start with you again?
Absolutely.
Each candidate will have 60 seconds to reply. Do you feel it's important to invest in our youth? And if so, what initiative do you propose to attract and retain the young families in South Bruce Peninsula?
You know what? I don't have an answer to that question. Absolutely. Do I support our youth? Yes. But do we have the monies? Am I getting that feeling from the people that I talk to? I am not. I'm not getting a real warm and cozy feeling that you want to spend your tax dollars on the youth. We do have a pool, we have an arena, we have soccer fields, we have community centers, we have gymnasiums, we have recreational programs that we continue to support. I'm not sure what more I can do for the youth of our area without spending your hard-earned money. If you want it spent, stand up and let us know, because we have had applications before us. We have turned them down as council. We have had applications before us, and they have been turned down by council because we didn't have the money. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kerr.
I think I heard 2 questions. I heard, what are we going to do about youth? And I think that we need to spend money in that area, because if we don't spend it on giving them recreational things to do, we're faced with the vandalism expenses that we have. When we're talking young families, the challenge with retaining young families is we need to provide work for them, and we've not been able to do that. So I think that's twofold. Yes, we need to invest in our youth, and number 2, we need to have businesses that they can go to work when they're young families.
Thank you. Mr. Turner?
Well, the two predecessors have said it all, really. You have to want us to spend your money. We can't put a skate park in without spending your money. We can't put anything in place without you giving us an okay. Do we need jobs for our kids? We sure do. We better get better internet going here. We've got to get more infrastructure in place to get more business, get more jobs, keep our kids here so we don't have to drive 4 hours to visit our grandchildren.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Mr. Gammy?
We have a problem in this community in that a very high proportion of our residents are what's called under the poverty level, below the poverty level. So it's a bit of a dilemma when people ask us to take more money from the residents and spend it on a different group, more money from the senior residents and spend it on a different group. That said, I agree with all the previous commentators that if you want us to spend more money on youth, let us know. But there are ways of improving things for youth without dipping into the taxpayers' money. And that's to get a proper economic development program going so that there are jobs. And the best way to do that, as I've offered 3 times, is to set up a proper economic development committee. I think this would be very, very successful. There's a lot of talent out there. A lot of the youth that are coming up through the schools are well educated and are ripe for training programs and for good jobs. All we have to do is tell the people that could start industries
Thank you, Mr. Gammy.
of the talent that's around here.
Anna? Ms. Vukovic?
That was my 5th in a speech. In order to create more opportunity for youth, we must, through the town economic development, which we have and we pay for, create a way to them to enroll whenever possible in local colleges and in apprenticeship.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I think this is a very important one, and it's probably one of the big reasons why I'm sitting up here tonight as a candidate. It's my hope and my goal that when I come to the end of my political career, I will have worked hard and created opportunities for the next generation so that they can stay, live here, and make a decent living. I think the reality is most of the young folks in the community have been forced to leave. I think if we look creatively at our future, we have a lot more untapped resources in tourism, in agriculture, in the high-tech sector. I think by getting high-speed internet to the area allows people to move back to the community and work from home like myself. So there are enormous opportunities, but I think we need to have a fresh perspective and a modern vision for the economy. The economy of tomorrow is not coming back. We need to think creatively and really set our path forward to succeed.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Mr. Leonard?
Mr. Jackson said it really well, but as I said in my opening speech, I will donate 25% of whatever my wage is directly back to the children to have a play area or a skate park or something like that. So it's a definite need. As much as it is a need to have a hospital here, we need to have a place for the kids.
Thank you. Mr. Standen?
Well, this allows me the opportunity to finish up what I started in the opening remarks, so it works out good. We do need to provide, first of all, we need to provide value-added jobs in our community to bring these people back, to these young people, young families, our youth, singles, otherwise. And we need to offer diversified employment opportunities that are attractive to these folks. We need to work with current business owners, our chambers, our BIAs, and so on and so forth, and help them to develop and expand their business to create these permanent jobs. As part of what I stand for, I'll advocate for the establishment of a youth student committee, which I think is really key to get our youth involved in the political process. And our community's youth are our future, and we need to give them the resources to be successful contributing members of our community, which I feel that we lack right now.
Thank you. Mr. Nusko?
Yes, I support the youth of our community. I guess I have to start realizing that I can no longer identify as the youth. I'm now starting to move to, I guess, the next stage of my life. So, I have to start supporting the youth as opposed to being asked for support. As for a concrete solution or a concrete step to put forward for the youth, as your deputy mayor, I would work with the councilors that you elect. They've all put forward many great ideas. I would work with them to bring them to reality. And I just wouldn't plug my own horse. I mean, if I could wave a magic wand, I'd love an indoor pool in Wyerton.
Thank you. Mr. Kirkland?
Thank you. When I think of youth, I think of young families, kids growing up, jobs to keep them here. One of the biggest things in the gift horses that we're looking in the mouth is our senior population. We have a ton of seniors that want to come to this area, that are already in this area. I don't know why council's one of their main focuses in our economic development should be for seniors. We create seniors housing. We create activities for seniors. We do everything for seniors. Seniors want to be serviced. You need young families to service the seniors, to run the programs, to keep the grocery stores open, to keep the businesses going. That would create jobs and opportunity for the young people in our municipality, as well as looking at what our growth opportunity is. And our growth opportunity right now is seniors. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Jackson?
I look at that as a twofold question. Number one, the youth that we have currently living here now, we absolutely need to provide more activities and services for them. I think that there's a lot that we can do to step that up. I think the other part of the question is when our youth go away and get a greater education, we need to give them a reason to come back to our community and stay here. And I do also believe that with residential growth, that is going to force shops and services, and especially, I agree with Councillor Kirkland, when you're talking about seniors coming in, there's going to be a lot of services that are going to be needed, everything from, local grocery stores to medical services and podiatrists and all of these things. And so that is where I think our future is, and I think we really need to concentrate on that.
Thank you. Ms. Hall?
Thank you. I do support the youth. I think it's really important. I mean, as pretty much everyone has touched on here, it's a seniors area, and moving forward into the future, we're going to need families to take care of us. I also see that for the youth coming back after they've gone away to get educated, when they come back, maybe they can be our new entrepreneurs, and maybe they're the ones that can be encouraged to start the new businesses and to hire the staff and to build the houses and to move into the houses and to support the community that way. So yes, definitely the youth and the seniors are very important. We have to, as a municipality, be able to provide programs for them so that they will grow. Our school system here is just wonderful, so they have that benefit for them.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. Ms. Thomas?
I totally am in support of the youth. It's very important to me. That's our future, especially in an area like this where so many of the youth do live below the poverty line. I think it's our responsibility to have recreation programs and things for them to do, things that they can afford to do. As long as I've been on council, it's been batted back and forth about a skateboard park. It has taken us maybe a year and a half to decide what park to put it in. That kind of thing has to happen. We have a group willing to raise $300,000, and all they want us to do is pay $6,000 to have the Blue Water Park and Wyerton some drainage put in. When things like that happen, it's we have to make things a little easier, and we do have to think about the youth that are at risk in our community. It's not always all about the money.
Thank you.
Well, the youth is our future. And you know what? I grew up here. I don't think it's a bad place to grow up. I'm raising a family here. He has lots of opportunities. I had lots of opportunities as a kid. The big issue we're facing here, I feel, is keeping our youth here. We have no jobs for our kids. They all have to move away. So it takes us as a community to work together to keep our kids here. I know when I was younger, you used to be able to go to Wyerton, you go to the theater, they had senior hockey, junior hockey. There's no more of that. Our community isn't together like it was 20 years ago. And somehow we have to get that community spirit back and get the kids engaged again so they want to stay here. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Close?
I notice one of our school board trustees, or a candidate, is still here tonight, and it's unfortunate that we only gave them 3 minutes to speak because it is a very important position in your ballot to vote for. And why I'm bringing this up is because Blue Water, North Bruce Peninsula, and South Bruce Peninsula can work together, tear down the silos, and start bringing the universities to our facilities so that they aren't half empty. We can start doing this work together, and it just takes the ambition. It doesn't take money, just the ambition to start bringing education into our communities. The past year, I've had the privilege of being your Bruce County Warden, and I've been working on a project called SWIFT. We are planning on bringing high-speed fiber optics into southwest Ontario. Look it up under SWIFT. It's a great project. It's coming your way.
Thank you, Mr. Close. Based on the time allotted to us tonight, this will be the final question. But before I ask the question, I will, at the end of the night, we're going to introduce or kind of welcome you off the stage, and I will call your names as you come down. I'd also like to take this time to, on behalf of this moderation table, to thank both the Wyerton and Sauble Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to thank them for this evening, allowing me to be part of it, and the candidates for their time. Once again, it'll be all directed to all candidates. It'll be 30 seconds to respond. I will start with Mr. Close at the far end. Describe what South Bruce Peninsula will look like in 4 years from now if you are elected.
In 4 years from now, we hope to have our lagoon hooked up and subdivisions developing both to the south end and interior fill-in. And I certainly hope that our official plan will be modified to the point where we can start opening up business with a business expansion and development program in place.
Thank you.
I concur with John. We are putting money, we put money into the sewers, or the sewers in the lagoon to make expansion in Wyerton. We've, in our budgets, we focused a lot on our roads, so hopefully our roads will be in a little better shape than they are right now. And I just hope we have a community that's united, and maybe Sauble and Wyerton won't be against each other. Maybe they can come together after all these years. I don't know, but I hope so.
Ms. Thomas?
I hope in 4 years to see lots of development around the municipality. I also hope when I drive down the main street of Wyerton, there aren't a whole bunch of empty storefronts looking at me. And I hope in 4 years that Sauble and Wyerton and the other areas in the municipality can come together and be as one. The division that's happened is not a good thing for any of us, so I really hope that that fixes itself.
Thank you. Ms. Hall?
In 4 years, I would like to see the Sauble Beach land claim resolved. In 4 years, I would like to see our infrastructure improvements made as far as sidewalks and roads specifically. I would like to see retirement buildings being built to house. I'd like to see progress with that, some developments in town for sure. I'd like to see more.
Thank you, Mrs. Hall. Ms. Jackson?
In 4 years, I would like to see our infrastructure repaired, repaired in Wyerton. It's very critical. We're working on it now. I'd like to see that completed. I'd like to see the sewage lagoon expansion completed along with the development that's going to follow. Unity is huge. I'd like to see all of our issues that are critical to us right now in our rearview mirror, including the land claim, the airport, all of those things. Development. I just want to see way more housing, bringing new people into town and moving forward.
Mr. Kirkland?
Yeah, I would like to see all councillors thinking of town of South Bruce Peninsula. Hopefully in this new open election process will start working for us. It's going to take a long time to happen, but this is the beginning. This council that I'm presently on is committed to $100,000 a year for our road budget. It's going to take us 10 years for our asset management, and that will be $1 million a year that we will be putting into the roads network of this municipality. So it has begun. Hopefully the next councils will continue putting those dollars forward
Thank
for the
you very
roads.
much. Thank you. Mr. Nusko.
4 years from now, I'm hoping that we can look back and see that all of the important issues have been advanced or completed. So all of this infrastructure has been addressed, the deficits in infrastructure have gone away, we have plans to keep our infrastructure up and running. I hope that council, it has run 4 years of clear and transparent meetings. I hope that there hasn't been
Thank you.
infighting.
Mr. Nusko, thank you. Mr. Standen.
In 4 years' time, I want people to be able to live, work, and play in South Bruce Peninsula. I want young people to be able to return to our community. I want to see tourists spending money year-round in our shops, farmers markets, grocery stores, and enjoying our amazing natural assets. I want to see active development in all corners of our community, and I want to foremost see it thrive. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Leonard.
Well, in 4 years from now, I think I brought up unity again. I've heard it again a few times now, which is really good. So hopefully we can all be unified by then, and we won't have as much racism as I see around here, not just towards natives, but towards East Indians and everything else that I hear around here. It's crap. And hopefully, Craig Grammy will have moved.
Sorry. Mr. Jackson, please.
Thank you. I think if I have the privilege of serving as councillor for the next 4 years and I can sort of look back through the rearview mirror, I'd like to see a more united, progressive community that's moving forward with a direction for the future. I would like to see a number of initiatives that we seem to have been stuck in neutral on for the last 20 years to be moving forward. They may not all happen overnight, but at least a plan in place that sets us in a direction for the future. I really think we have one of the best communities here in Ontario, and it would be nice to have a council that's worked together well as a team, that really is a beacon
Thank
to
you.
the rest of the
Thank you,
province,
Mr.
showing them how to work
Jackson. Thank you.
together.
Ms. Vukovic.
As I have been going door to door from east to west, north to south, that's what the people tell me, and that's why I like to see it. They like to see it open and friendly council chamber that welcome you instead of stay on the door, you can't do this, you can't that. They told me they want to see airport once for all to be solved, one way or another. They want to see water rates reduced because they cannot afford it anymore. They want to see a Wiarton infrastructure to be done. They want to see roads to be
Thank you very
improved.
much.
That's
Thank you.
what I
Thanks.
want to see in the
Mrs.
next
Vukovic,
4 years.
Thank you. Mr. Gamey.
I've been here for 64 years. I can assure Mr. Leonard that I'll be here for another 4. And I would like to see Mr. Leonard still here after 4 years, because I think everybody deserves a second chance and everybody is savable. I think within 1 year, I would like to see the water and sewage system addressed and back into shape before there's an accident, before somebody gets hurt.
Thank you, Mr. Gamey. Mr. Turner.
We have infrastructure projects shovel-ready. Let's dig. Jay's pushed every year for more road funding. Let's build the better roads. I personally think that you can't hurt business and your future by reducing regulations and government interference. Let's have that happen. And hopefully I'll be here 4 years from now, too.
Thank you. Mr. Kerr?
I agree with a lot of the comments that have been made. I'm going to add just 2 new ones. I would like to see a dive area created in Colpoy Bay that would include a statue of Wiarton Willie, and it would include some diving areas, possibly a petrified forest, because we have one actually 9 miles out. Airplanes instead of ships down there, and make a whole new industry to make use of the cleanest and best water in our area. I'd like to see somebody move forward with the terrible eyesore towards Sable Beach, which used to be an amusement
Thank you,
center.
Dan. Mr. Sir. Ms. Bowman.
In 4 years' time, what do I want to see? I want to see the quality of your life and your family protected. I want to see clean air. I want to see clean water. I want to see golden sands. And I want to see community pride. And I want this all to be done within a balanced budget. Thank you.
Thank you all. We have come to the end of our allotted time, so I'd like to work backwards off my list. As you came in, I'll announce you backwards. Councillor-elect, or candidate, sorry, Anna Vukovic. I'm just announcing you off the stage. Councillor candidate Jim Turner. Councillor candidate Chris Thomas. Councillor candidate Paul McKenzie. Councillor candidate Jeff Leonard. Councillor candidate Dan Kerr. Councillor candidate Matt Jackson. Councillor candidate Craig Gammy. Councillor candidate Marilyn Bauman. Deputy Mayor candidates Matthew Standen, David Nusko, Jay Kirkland, Betty Hall. And your mayoral candidates Janice Jackson and John Close.